Guys, this is Mentor Haley again, and I want to talk today about something that I'm very passionate about, and I tend to kind of fly off the handle because it's just, when you talk about something you just love, it's contagious, and you just feel kind of like your soul just jump out of your chest, and you just want to just empower others, and that's my dog back there. ADD, I know. But something I wanted to talk about with you guys that's very important to me is this. I've been fighting with the Department of Veterans Affairs pretty much since I got out of the Army in 2012. And it has been uphill, downhill, all the way around. And I want to go ahead and talk to y'all about this because it seems that with every day there's just a new scandal. There's something going on. Somebody's pocketing money. Somebody's abusing veterans, be it, vocally saying nasty, objective things to them, or they're just not being taken care of. So obviously, I'm very fortunate. I know many veterans that have come home that have lost, their ability to hear, their ability to see, or literally limbs from roadside bombs, attacks, and things like that. So I'm very fortunate in a sense that when people look at me, they're like, "You're disabled? Why?" Well, something that I want to raise awareness of is that the number 22. 22, sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm so excited. 22 veterans commit suicide daily. And people will sit there and wonder, well, why? Why is this number so high? Why is this even happening? We have a system to take care of them. The Veterans Affairs system is broken. It is broken. There is a reason why there's so many scandals. There's a reason why the billions of dollars the government has invested into this system has just poof, magically disappeared. Because believe me, if it was all going to me, somebody would be getting taken care of. Like, there'd be a better access of care. I'll share with you some of my stories, some of my friends' stories, and hopefully it'll change some perceptions of some things. Now, all disabilities that you see in veterans returning home from war, they're not all visual. You're not always going to be able to see it on a person. For example, I'm diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder from things that I experienced. Any human can be diagnosed with this. It can be a survivor of assault, rape, other various crimes. You could have and a good example is this, that it's on the National Post-Traumatic Stress webpage for the VA. You could just be walking down the road and witness someone getting hit by a car and they could die tragically. And that can give you post-traumatic stress. There's really no statute of limitations for how long it lasts. And the majority of people, depending on the type of event that they witness, it sticks with you forever. And some people wonder, well, we've been at war for a long time. This isn't America's first war or conflict. Well, back in the day, for really anything, World War I, World War II, it was a different time. It was a different mindset. People there was a higher stigma associated with mental health. So when you came home, you kind of just had to deal with it. There wasn't really, and people were quiet about it. So that's why you weren't hearing about so many veterans, I guess, flying off the handle or different, suicides, events like that happening. It's because it wasn't acceptable back then. And so if your family member were to commit suicide, you would hide it. And even medical examiners would write it up as something other than that to keep families from being embarrassed. Because mental health was not something that was addressed and out in the air back then. You'd get institutionalized or worse. So people, rather than being locked away or embarrassing their families, just kind of had to hide it and hide it away. And it causes major issues. I mean, I have family members. My great-grandfather was in World War II. And I remember when I said to him that I was going through the VA for a disability claim, he had said to me, I have 10%. And mind this, World War II vet, was at Pearl Harbor when it all went down, saw his friends die, fought, and I guess what some people, especially older vets, would say was a real war. It's all the same. We all have seen horrible things. We've all had to do things we probably didn't want to do and fight for a cause that maybe not all of us agreed with. But the thing is, he saw that, and when I told him that, he kind of laughed in my face and said, we didn't have all that fancy stuff. We just dealt with it. And I turned out just fine. Well, yeah, I mean, of course, he was like 90-something years old, so he's had probably the last 50 years to figure out his coping and trigger mechanisms, and he had the pressures of an outside society to tell him to do that. He didn't have someone to go to and talk to. And we don't really have facts and figures for what veteran suicides rates were for that time period, because, and even if we did, they probably wouldn't be accurate. So now with the numbers we have, which I still don't think are accurate, I think that they're a lot higher. I don't think it's just 22. I think it's probably double that. I've lost, 3 friends that I know of to suicide, because even today, people still don't want to advertise that their family member killed themselves because it's horrible. It's horrible to think that someone got to the point to where they no longer wanted to live and they took their own life. I'm a survivor of suicide attempts, multiple. I grew up into what a lot of people think might have been a very privileged, great childhood, but it was hell for me. And there were many times, and I actually wrote about it in my book, A Girl Lost to the World and Found in the Art of War. I wrote about some of my experiences, and that I'm very lucky today. I mean, whether it was a drug overdose through prescription medication, or trying to there are numerous attempts on my part. I've suffered from depression for a very long time, and I'm very thankful to still be here. But it's hard to relate that to someone who's in the depths of despair. You couldn't have told me, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that I would be here today, that I would have a family and a husband that loves me, and 2 huskies that are a-holes back here interrupting my important video. Hey, thank you. But there's so much that needs to be done, and it's not just, we can't just keep blaming the Department of Veterans Affairs. Yes, it sucks. It sucks so bad that veterans are to the point of homelessness and committing suicide because this system is doing nothing for them. It may be doing a little bit of something, but it's not what they need. It's not what we need. We don't just need you to throw a high disability percentage at us, throw some money at us every month and say, oh, it's going to be okay. Or to throw 30 pill medications at us and be like, take all of this, be a zombie. I don't want to be a zombie. I want to get out and live my life. I want to find ways to cope with my mental health so that I'm not stuck in my house all day, every day, because I'm afraid to leave for whatever reason, or because I'm afraid to drive my car because I'm scared of an unknown enemy that's not really there, When you've been overseas and you get these triggers, that's why, a lot of times people will have difficulty driving cars, being in crowds, things like that. It's just, it's rough and it's hard, but I'm sick of losing friends to suicide. I'm so sick of them telling me that they go to support groups of the VA and it doesn't help, that their claim has taken the last 2 years when that's reckless. That's irresponsible. If you know that someone is getting out of a paid position in the military, you can't just throw them into normal society and be like, oh, hope for the best. See you in 2 years. Hopefully you're still around for us to give you a substantial settlement because we refuse to pay you. Just picture that. Picture this for the civilians out there. You break your foot. Hopefully you've got workers' comp. If not, what's going to happen? Or you have some form of insurance. What's going to happen? Your whole, especially if you rely on those 2 legs to work, if you can't work, then what are you going to do? What's going to happen? Your bills are going to pile up. Your family's going to get stressed. You're going to get stressed. And throw all of that on top of probably some mental anguish. Just imagine. It would be a really bad situation. That's what our veterans are going through today. Mental health may not be visible, but it is just as bad as if you broke your arm or broke your foot and you were unable to work. Some of them, their social skills it's hard because we are stigmatized on a daily basis to where people, if you can't show up to a job because you're having an anxiety attack or something like that, they look at you and they're like, well, why couldn't you come today? Why couldn't you do this? And the thing is we can't always. Some of us are strong, but it takes years and years and treatment and failed attempts and things like that. I don't know how many medications the VA's tried to throw at me and said, oh, this'll work, this'll work, this'll work. And then when it doesn't work, you're like, what is wrong with me? Why does nothing work? It's because it doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't. You have to get out. You have to try something new. You have to maybe do yoga or try tapping or go on an odyssey with Wounded Warrior Project. Go meet other veterans. Go share your story, because you are not alone. You are not the only one out there that's experiencing these things. You know, don't become a statistic. Don't become 22. Don't do it. You don't have to be that way. You don't have to give up. If you're homeless right now, if you're just in a bad spot and you're about to be, reach out and get help. Don't wait until it's too late. And you know what? If it is too late and you're out there and you're struggling, still reach out. There are people to help you. There are organizations that just are waiting. They want your phone call. They want you to walk in the door, because they're loving. They understand. They want to embrace you. They want to embrace our veteran brothers and sisters to help you get through what you're going through. I was homeless, over 2 years ago with my child, and it was embarrassing because I worked for as long as I could, but it just eventually just gets too hard, to the point of where there's really no return. So if that's you and you're getting to that point, know that you have to reach out. You have to make the effort. You can't just sit stagnant and expect things to happen. You have to reach out. You have to just find someone to help you. And that's hard, especially when you're just upset and you're depressed. All you want to do is lay around. But the longer you wait, the harder it's going to get. So reach out. Reach out. And for me, it was Wounded Warrior Project that did it for me. They got me linked up with other warriors to where we can share stories and swap and know that it's not just something crazy you're going through. I mean, shoot, my mother told me that PTSD doesn't exist. It is alive and well. And you know what? The only person you're helping if you commit suicide is going to be the enemy. They won. And over here, it may not be someone shooting at you. It may not be someone planting roadside bombs. It's going to be what they ingrained in you over there that's going to get you over here. And don't let it get you. You are not alone. Even if your family doesn't support you, even if the VA does not support you in the way you feel you need to be supported, take control of your life. Take control. Get online, call the Vet Crisis Line, call whoever you need to call. Get on our resources page for My Mentor Rocks. We're adding new things daily. If you don't see what you need, send me an email. I will sure as heck look and see what I can find for you, if it exists. If not, there are new organizations every day that are trying to figure out the need for vets, that are trying to know or just research or figure out what it is they can do for us. But you have to give it that opportunity. You have to give it that fighting chance. If you're a parent, your kids deserve it. They deserve a mom or a dad. Or both. There's people that are dual military suffering. They deserve that. And there's help for you as a parent. Parenting is hard, but you know what? With help, you can cope. You will never be the person you were before you joined the military. You'll never be the person that you were 5 years ago or a year ago. Shoot. I'm different than 6 months ago. But the thing is you can't just go off of the person you used to be. You'll never be that person. We are dynamic. Humans grow. We change. So you have to just cope. You have to adjust. You have to learn what makes you you and celebrate the changes. Embrace the change. Your PTSD, your anxiety, your depression, your injuries or illnesses, they don't define who you are. You do. So don't let what's up here or anything that's going on around here make you end your life. Fight every single day. Fight for what you deserve. If the VA doesn't want to give you that percentage, keep fighting. It's a pain in the butt, I know, but just keep fighting. Stay on top of that. Petition your local congressman. Send them a letter. They're very receptive, surprisingly, especially around election time when they want to get reelected. Oh, we're helping the vets out. It might not be for the right reason, but they can push you in that direction. Look to Wounded Warrior Project. They can help you with claims. And there's other organizations too that are just great. But what I'm saying in all this is don't give up. I get low. It's hard for me to get out of the bed sometimes, but you know what? What gets me out of bed is helping others. So get to the point where you're strong, and then you can reach out and connect with others. Save your brothers and sisters. If they were dangling off a cliff, you would reach an arm out and save them. So in order to do that, in order to be that arm to save someone, you have to yourself get strong enough so you can support others and do that.